What's going on, everybody? So as you can tell, we have got plenty of projects lined up in the shop. It's been a long summer, long winter. Now we're into 2023, and to get some things ready for hay season and just general work around the farm, we have got a lot of work to get done in the shop. So today we are going to be starting with the old Massy. It's Old Faithful. I didn't pay a whole lot for it. It was our first tractor here on the farm, and it's done a lot of good for us, but it's struggling. It's got quite a few issues at the moment, things that we've kind of been pushing off and working through, but it's time to give it a little TLC. What we're going to be doing exactly today is replacing the points, condenser, distributor cap, and rotor, along with a couple of spark plug wires that have got a bunch of corrosion built up on them. So I'll get a close up on it and show you guys how we're going to go about it. All right, so before we get started, I'll show you guys the new parts. We've got our distributor cap, our dust cover, our rotor, our points, and our condenser. All this stuff I picked up at Napa. I think the entire kit was like 75 bucks. So relatively cheap when it comes to redoing the ignition on something. Over here, we've got a spark plug wire set. I don't think we're going to use all of them because I've kind of got to make do with what's available at stores. This tractor's a 1962, so it's kind of hard to get original parts. And some of the wires in the Tractor Supply wire set are just too short for the tractor. But there's a couple in there that will make do to replace the bad ones that I've found. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and remove all of our spark plug wires and take the distributor cap, dust shield, and rotor off so we can get down at the points in the condenser. I highly recommend either labeling, or what I do is take a bunch of pictures of how everything goes. So that way, when you get into the project and you leave or whatever and forget, okay, this wire goes here, there, or whatever, you got a reference to look back at and put it together the right way the first time. As you can see here, that blue corrosion on that spark plug wire, that's going to be one of the ones that we're replacing. Those just pop off, and then you've got two tabs that snap off the side, good thing that's junk, of your distributor cap. The rotor sits on top of here, that fell off as well, and this is your dust cap. So you pull your dust cap off, and as you can see, you have your points and your condenser. So all you're gonna need to change this is a flathead screwdriver, and it looks like about an 8mm wrench where that wire's held on for the condenser. You will also need, once you get it all installed, a couple of feeler gauges to set your gap on your points, which on this tractor particularly, it's gonna be about 20 thousandths. So I'm gonna put the camera down and get after it. So you may have seen me struggle a little bit with this brass screw right here. Now, this isn't actually a screw. This little brass flathead screw looking thing, when you turn it, actually is on sort of a cam. So even though this doesn't actually hold your points down, I had trouble getting my points off because this screw is so chewed up. But what this does is it rotates and is attached off center, so you can set the gap in your points. So it's kind of hard to see, but as you turn, if you look down the middle, it swings and will allow you to either push your points closer like such, or you turn it the other way and set your gap wider. So now that I've got everything disassembled, I'm going to go ahead and get the new parts and start putting things together. Okay guys, so this is pretty close up, a little difficult to focus, but what I've got here is my 20 thousandths feeler gauge. It's indicated by the top number, which is inches, 0.02, 20 thousandths. And to set the gap on our points, what we're going to do is take this feeler gauge, put it between the 2 points, and right now it's really loose. So we're going to have to tighten that up. But basically what you want to do is tighten that up until you feel a light amount of drag on the feeler gauge when you push it in and out between the points. Like I said before, the way that we're going to tighten that gap is take a flathead screwdriver to our brass screw here, which is on a cam, and just turn it righty-tighty, and that brings those points together since it's rolling on a cam. You open them back up, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Now it's important that once you get your gap set on your points, you want to tighten this screw here. This screw here locks this back point in place and allows your gap to stay consistent while the tractor's running. Now that our gap is set, we're going to go ahead and install our dust cap, our rotor, and our distributor cap. You'll see here on your dust cap that you've got a groove, and that just matches this outside clip here. And that gives you a consistent marker for every time you have to take this apart. Over time, points the gap, you know, as it either accumulates corrosion or wears it down, you've got to come in and adjust your gap once in a while. So all these markings are just to hold everything in a similar place. And that's going to be a nice tight fit with that gasket in there, so you don't get anything down in on top of your points. Next will be your rotor. Again, you have a notch in here and a notch in here, so you really can't mess that up putting that on. And then your distributor cap is pretty plain and simple. You've got your 4 contact points, 1 for each cylinder. You've got your center point, which is the electrode that allows the power to come from here down to your rotor. And all you do is line this up with where the clips are and snap it on. Okay, now that that's snapped on, we're going to go ahead and install our wires. Something else I've noticed is our wire coming from our cap to our condenser has got corrosion as well, so we're going to go ahead and replace this with one of the new ones that we got from Tractor Supply. Well, there you have it, guys. That is basically an ignition system overhaul. While we were at it, we replaced a couple of wires from here. We noticed in the past when starting the tractor that those wires would get hot and produce a little smoke. Like I said, this tractor is originally from the 60s, and I'm not sure that any of this has ever been done. The previous owner wasn't very good on maintenance and upkeep, so not a bad idea to go ahead and replace a couple of things like that just to kind of help it run better and hopefully get as many years out of it as we can. If you guys enjoyed this video, drop a comment, hit that like button, possibly subscribe, and let me know what are you guys interested in? What more do you want to see in the future? We've got a lot of work to do to this tractor. It needs a new radiator. There's some hydraulic leaks to fix. And a big job is we're going to be pulling all this off, the fuel tank and everything. We're actually going to pull the head off of the engine and send it out to get redone because we are leaking gas somewhere through the head into the engine oil. So anyway, stick around. You guys enjoy this video, smash that like button, and I will catch you on the next one.